We live by another day. We live by another day.
Yes.
What in there?
The Bills are getting better, but they're not there yet, especially with their quarterback. I don't think their quarterback is going to take the second step. I don't think he's going to get better until his third or fourth year. So I feel that that's, again, a win for us. I also feel that this is a game where it's not going to be quite as cold yet in Buffalo. So there's an opportunity that not only will it be a game that is won by the running backs, I think Adrian Peterson might be that guy who grinds it all the way out when it comes to what's happening in that game.
Why I hate the mixtape. Sam said it.
My shine, ay, they can't stop my glow. No, they can't stop my shine, ay, they can't stop my glow. No, so don't come waste my time. Right. So don't come waste my time. Okay. Cause it's my time to shine. Cause it's my time to shine. They can't stop my shine, ay, they can't stop my glow. No, they can't stop my shine. Alright, they can't stop my glow. Okay. So don't come waste my time. So don't come waste my time.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today on basically the eve and after the Washington Nationals win the World Series, the Washington Redskins lose to the Buffalo Bills 24-9. I'm just gonna get into this game. Redskins start out on offense, they go 3 and out. Somehow, some way, the officials find ways to penalize the Redskins for anything they can find. Sometimes I think they're finding stuff just to sit up there and just lie about it or whatever. Like they're just finding penalties to put on the Redskins. On that 3 and out, one of the penalties was an ineligible receiver penalty. How does that happen? I don't know. Buffalo goes on offense. They go 8 plays, 54 yards, and Cole Beasley gets a touchdown. Now, at this point, we're starting to see that the defense is giving up a lot of chunk yardage. So, to me, the defense isn't playing that well. Redskins go back on offense. They go 5 plays, 26 yards, and they end up punting the ball back to Buffalo. Buffalo goes 11 plays, 66 yards, and they kick a field goal. The defense came up big on 1st and goal. They ended up having them go back on this drive, so they had a great goal line stance, and they made Buffalo keep going back as this drive kept moving on. The Redskins are on offense and they're driving. The first quarter's over. Score is 10-0 Buffalo. Redskins go on offense. They have 7 plays, 71 yards, and they kick a field goal. Buffalo comes back on offense. They go 11 plays, 39 yards. And the drive ends with Josh Allen getting a touchdown on 4th and 1. Now, I don't know what these teams are doing, but it seems like a lot of teams feel that they can attempt they can go for it on 4th down whenever they see the Redskins. This has been, so far, I think this has been pretty much the whole season. Everybody's gone for it on 4th and something against the Redskins. In this game, Buffalo went for it. I think it had to be at least 4 or 5 times on 4th down against us. So the fact that our defense is not being respected, that's a shocker. But again, teams are, every time we see them, they're attempting it multiple times to go for it on 4th down. Redskins go back on offense. They go 7 plays, 55 yards, and they kick a field goal. And then they go into the half. Adrian Peterson at this point is carving up the defense, Buffalo's defense. Adrian Peterson is having a great day. He's getting a bunch of chunk yardage. At the half, Adrian Peterson had 10 carries for 101 yards, and Haskins is 5 for 8 for 57 yards. Now, to me, Dwayne Haskins isn't playing that bad. He actually looks like he's poised. He's not reading off the script, because they said that in 1 week he learned basically enough plays to not have to need the playbook on his wrist. So the fact that he was able to do that in 1 week, that shocks me. Third quarter rolls around. Buffalo gets the ball first. They go 6 plays, 38 yards, and the Redskins defense stops them again on a 4th and 1. So, like I said again, I don't know what teams are doing, but for some reason, teams are constantly attempting 4th and 1 on us the whole this season. Redskins go back on offense. They go 4 plays, 26 yards. They kick the ball back to Buffalo. Buffalo goes back on offense. They go 6 plays for 4 yards. Give it back to the Redskins. Redskins go 5 plays, 12 yards, and they kick a field goal. Third quarter ends with Buffalo driving. At that point, the score is 17-9 in Buffalo's favor. Fourth quarter rolls around. At this point, Buffalo's defense has now gotten to the point at where they're trying to force the Redskins to throw the ball because they basically stacked their line to stop Adrian Peterson. Fourth quarter rolls around, Buffalo gets the ball, they go 3 and out. Redskins get back on offense, they go 9 plays, 26 yards, and kick the ball back to Buffalo. Buffalo then goes on offense, they go 3 and out. Redskins come back and they go 3 and out. Buffalo then comes back on offense, they go 8 plays, 56 yards, and the drive ends with Devin Singletary rushing for a touchdown. Again, to me, the defense is not playing as well as they should. And they were giving up a lot of chunk yardage, which was like actually a surprise. Redskins go back on offense and they basically take all 4 downs and they basically go 4 and out. Game is over. Stats for the end of the game: Dwayne Haskins goes 15 for 22 for 144 yards. Adrian Peterson has 18 carries for 108 yards. Paul Richardson has 4 catches for 42 yards, and Terry McLaurin has 4 catches for 39 yards. I'm just going to say this. Some people are going to have you believe that the defense played well. They didn't. They gave up too much when it came to chunk yardage plays. Also, nobody can answer me this, but I'm not understanding why Cole Holcomb is playing so much, because he takes very bad angles when it comes to tackling. He's fast, can't doubt him on that, but he takes very, very bad angles when it comes to tackling people, and that was on display today. In the second half, you did notice that at some point they must have taken Cole Holcomb out and installed Sean Dion Hamilton in the second half. The Redskins defense started playing a little bit better with Sean Dion Hamilton in compared to Cole Holcomb being in. So to me, they weren't playing that well. Josh Norman was burned. Again, they just find Josh Norman and they find a way to victimize this guy. He gets caught every single time. Every time somebody finds a way to catch him. Dwayne Haskins actually played well. Now let me say this. I'm overhearing people talk about how he wasn't ready. Because if this is the type of game he's had, and he only had 1 week of practice with the first teamers, and he had 1 week to train and practice and learn the playbook and things like that, understand this. He didn't even have the playbook wristband on his arm. That tells you something. See, when everybody sits here and talks about a guy not being ready, what made him not ready? I told y'all Jay Gruden wasn't going to develop this guy. He wasn't even going to play this guy because Jay Gruden didn't feel the need to do it because he knew he was going to be fired no matter what. So for him, he wasn't going to sit up there and have this guy go out there and play, because it would have made him look stupid. If the owner's choice at quarterback outperformed the quarterbacks that he was so desperate to have here. And as you can see, the offense looked a little bit better. The ball was getting out of his hands and everything like that. The offense was a little bit more smooth. Not like how Case was in or like Colt was in. But again, they didn't also give him the opportunity to throw the ball. Like, Adrian Peterson is having an amazing game. An amazing game. And yet and still, they still found a way to sit up there and not use play action pass. Like, how do you not use play action pass? And on top of that, you got 4 fast wide receivers. You had Steven Sims out there. You had Trey Quinn out there, Terry McLaurin, and Paul Richardson. All of them are out there, and not one of them was going for deep, very, very deep routes. Again, even with the offensive line didn't play that well either. Again, Jeremy Sprinkle, I don't know what's wrong with the guy, but he misses blocks a lot. And on top of that, he fumbled a pass. I don't understand. But again, Dwayne Haskins, if he played like this, guess what? Imagine how better he would have been if he got the start in Miami. Imagine how much better he would be right now if he had gotten the start in Miami, which I was pushing for way before we started to even do that. Hell, I even said, how about letting him start the season just so he can get experience in this whole thing? Kyler Murray is getting valuable experience. Kyler Murray didn't even look as good as Dwayne Haskins did in his first start in the game. All this talk that he wasn't ready, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. You telling me that's the type of performance we get out of a guy who had 1 week to get himself ready for this Buffalo game? You telling me that this guy wasn't ready? Everybody lied. Everybody lied about how good this guy was. This guy had 50 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in one season at Ohio State. You can't really leave college as a sophomore. So guess what? He had enough time at Ohio State to sit up there and be the player he is. Now, along with that, Adrian Peterson had a phenomenal game. So if you see that Adrian Peterson is having this phenomenal game, play action would have been the best thing for this team, especially in the second half. When Buffalo started to clamp down and said that we're not going to let Adrian Peterson keep carving up our defense, that was a prime time to sit up there and go to play action. And they didn't do it. And they did not do it. There's no way in hell you telling me that Kevin O'Connell is our next head coach when he can't even sit up there and go to Bill Callahan or even see that play action would have been very needed in the second half if he'd have just tried his best to go to it. Now, instead, they wanted to keep playing it safe. And to me, I'm starting to feel that this team is playing to not lose the game astronomically or not make mistakes instead of thinking about winning. I mean, how are you not going to want to win the game? It's insane to me. But again, like I said, I told y'all before, and I'm going to keep saying it, Dwayne Haskins is the guy for us. He's the guy we need. And I think that he's a far better quarterback than what's being told to us. And everybody has to stop listening to everybody who keeps saying that Dwayne Haskins isn't ready. This guy is ready. He's ready to be a quarterback. He's ready to do his thing. Let him do his thing. Let him throw the ball. He knows how to throw the ball. Let him throw the ball. I'm going to end the show with this. I didn't want to say nothing until the whole story came out about what was going on with Trent Williams. Now, I told y'all prior to this that Trent Williams has never been a problem guy for the Redskins. He's never been somebody who's spoken about the Redskins, spoken badly about the Redskins, or even held out at any point when it came to the Redskins. And I told y'all that there's something that's going on that's not being told to us. All those reports that were coming out about him wanting more money and all this type of stuff, and he kept saying that it was about the medical thing. To everybody's surprise, this man had cancer. Now, understand his frustration and his anger with the whole thing. We keep saying the Redskins medical staff, but they're actually doctors. Imagine your doctor telling you that a tumor that's in your scalp is not cancerous, and you trust in what they say. Then all of a sudden you go to another doctor and that doctor tells you, oh, no, 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 no. Not only is this cancerous, you may have to plan for your possible death. And on top of that, what we can do right now is we have to cut this out so you don't have nothing to worry about. So basically, this man wasn't playing in any games because he was healing from a surgery he had to get a section of his scalp cut out for that tumor that was in his scalp, in his skull or whatever. Understand this, people. This man did that because he was hurting. He trusted the Redskins doctors and they let him down. So guess what? I understand why he doesn't want to be a Redskin. I understand why he's so upset. I even understand because what we don't talk about is how Bruce Allen is always the one who's talking to the public and trying to always give his side to the story, and yet and still these other people don't get their side out. I'm glad Trent is healthy. I pray that this doesn't affect Trent. I will say this. I don't see Trent being a Redskin any longer. It's sad because, again, this guy was a phenomenal player for us. But in reality, this again is a failure put on the shoulders of our owner, Dan Snyder. I'm actually getting ready to drop a documentary. I want y'all to look at it. I'm going to drop it right around the bye week, the beginning of the bye week, maybe that Sunday or that Monday, depending on how it comes out. But I'm going to do that. I want y'all to look at it. Tell me what y'all think about it and everything like that. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.